The next thing, I don't know if this was something we talked about, but somebody posted, "My biggest struggle is trying to find what is right for me. I have so many different opinions and suggestions on what is the right way to do something. I get stuck in my head in analysis paralysis. There's so many shooters and instructors in the world, and not all agree on how something should be done. And I really want there to be a right way and a wrong way." What do you say to that?
Well, there's a whole bunch of things in that. One is a clustering illusion, that we seek patterns, and mostly what we do is random. Like people believe that, the gambler's fallacy, things are going to get hot. They believe the same thing. If they just get the right training methodology, everything will happen. It does. The research shows otherwise. It doesn't really matter as long as you get going and you
You mean
start
like the
doing
silver
something.
bullet? Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about, kind of? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So that you're going to find the perfect workout. You're going to find the perfect dry fire. They'll create a structure, but the perfect workout is that you have a clear goal, and that's what you've got to settle is what's the true thing that's lacking in my shooting right now. Is it your draw? Is it your ability to call shots? Is it your ability to do multiple tasks at once? Whatever it is, figure it out. You got a clear goal now. So you stay present while you do that. And that's the hardest part of this.
Mm.
Your mind's going to drift, and you put your phone away, you turn it on silent. You don't play the TV in the background. You listen to some music if that helps you, and you just do the work and stay present. And then you look for the immediate feedback. And the question is always this: I wonder why that's happening. Here's something nobody probably knows that unless you've been performing for a long time, sometimes when you get up the next day, you're a new person. I had a new habit show up in my class last weekend for me, just out of nowhere. Suddenly my sights were coming in from the right. Never happened in my life before. All right. I was a new shooter, and I was excited by that because I had to pay attention. And here's the good news: if we don't fail, we don't pay attention. If you're
Mhm.
doing well, you're not paying attention in the first place. So the immediate feedback was, I wonder why that's happening. I got super curious about it. And then I applied what I thought might be a correction, and I didn't do it. And I applied another correction, and that was kind of the right thing, but it wasn't all of it. And then I realized that I was using tension to judge the outcome. So I'd applied the brakes and applied a bunch of corrections without even seeing the problem. So the right way is to be ultimately curious about what you're doing,
Mhm.
to get the feedback, and to challenge yourself. And if you
Mhm.
keep the idea of a clear goal, that's it. And that
And to
is
be honest
incredibly
about it.
difficult. Yes. And be curious. You want to see the failure. That's when your brain pays attention. Failure is the learning process for human beings. We learn to stand up and we fall down. And that's the first thing that we learn in walking. But as we get to adults, we are so worried about people seeing us sometimes. And that's part of what we're talking about, that we don't see
Mhm.
ourselves anymore. So
Mhm.
just figure out that thing and then be real curious about it and wonder why it's happening, and realize you don't need me to come and teach you. And you can just pay attention and let your body correct it. If you draw
Mhm.
your awareness to something, we're an answering machine at heart. If we get curious and you ask yourself the question, why is that happening? You'll have a cascade of answers that start coming to you. And if they don't come to you, then go for a walk. Let your brain go
Mhm.
into neutral and it'll answer that question.
Mhm.
But that's what
Yeah.
training really feels like. And some
Mhm.
days are super intense for me, because I get super curious. I'm like, wow, I wonder why that's happening. And then some days it's like, everything's pretty good today.